To me, Dr. King's dream means unity. It means the focus on when we're looking at the foundation for any movement that we see today. It began in that period. Dr. King could see the unification of individuals where we would come together and actually see one another and not just judge people off of their skin, off of their color, race, not even off of their identity, whatever that chosen identity is. For me, Dr. King, the fact that he was such a scholar, right? And so he took time to make sure that he educated the community, educated the people through his speeches, through his conversation, through the things that he did. It was important for him to make sure that we were empowered. And so that inspires me. That's one of the things that I desire to do, is to inspire individuals to be able to reach whatever their goals, whatever their dreams or purposes are.
I think to me, it kind of means and just symbolizes like the struggle and like the history of a struggle and struggling for something that actually matters and is important to not just those who are struggling for it and those who are directly related to it, but those who sympathize with the cause and those who participate in the cause and those who agree with what the dream means. I think to me that's the main thing it means, is kind of recognizing the struggle and helping in the struggle and forwarding the cause and kind of just doing your part.
I feel like the dream means like to bring equity towards a people who have just experienced injustice, basically since they've stepped foot in America. But I also believe that the speech challenges us to look intrinsically rather than extrinsically, or internal rather than external, might I say, because he does say, you know, I have a dream where my 4 children will be judged not by the color of their skin, but by the content of the character. So therefore, you know, like, we have to look more so internal rather than the external in order to, you know, like, fulfill his dream.
His dream means to me to have courage in any space I'm in, whether that be school or my workplace or a social environment, and not letting like any limiting factor limit me from anything that I feel like will not let me live to my full potential. I want to feel like I can do anything I want to do if I put my mind to it, no matter my race or my gender, or if I'm the only one that looks like me in a classroom. I know that I'm just as capable as doing anything just as my other counterparts. He was able to make a platform for himself, and like he wasn't afraid to have that platform either, even though he knew what came with that, like the spotlight and doing something that could seem so dangerous. I think he would be very excited about what's happening. I think, of course, there's always progress to be made, but I think he'll be very excited to see how together the Black community has come and how we really are pushing ourselves and we're not limiting ourselves anymore. We're really like trying to take over and live to our full potential.
Like, he always stood strong in what he believed in, no matter who, you know, said otherwise. You know, he had a whole lot of, you know, naysayers and people who were just against him and, you know, all of his beliefs. But he stood strong, you know, and he he just stood his ground, you know, and, you know, that's just a very strong leader, you know, someone who I have been, you know, admiring since I've ever learned about Dr. King.
Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream means to me freedom to be myself, because I come from Black and white heritage, so I don't have to choose one or the other. I can be myself because of the lengths that we have fought to get here today. And it's about not being satisfied with the status quo and just changing it for the better whenever possible.
So he would see the progression that we've made, right? And, you know, there would be like a smile on his face, but there is still a lot of injustice happening in America. So therefore, like, he'll be happy, but he'll be just like disappointed at the same time. But even though like I think he might be a little disappointed, that wouldn't stop him from, you know, trying to progress America.
One of the things that I love, and he had a lot of speeches, but one when he talked about the elements of life, and there's a passage that always stands out. He said, oh, there will be a day. The question won't be, how many awards did you get in life? Not that day. It won't be, how popular were you in your social settings? That won't be the question that day. It would not ask how many degrees you've been able to get. The question that day would not be concerned about whether you are in a PhD or a no D. It would not be concerned about whether you went to Morehouse or whether you went to no house. The question that day would not be, how beautiful is your house? The question that day would not be, how much money did you accumulate? How much did you have in stocks and bonds? The question that day would not be, what kind of automobiles do you have? On that day, the question will be, what did you do for others?
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the dream speech means to me, keep pursuing your dreams, no matter how hard it seems or how far away it may seem. Keep pushing because time is not going to stop and you shouldn't either. I always say to myself, trouble doesn't last, and you can defeat those obstacles with a different frame of thinking and consistency. Being successful doesn't mean you are perfect nor earn the most money. Being successful involves a lot of things. But first, it starts with building your courage and confidence to understand that you are capable of doing whatever you put your mind to. If Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was alive right now, I'm sure he'd inform you that his days were not always great days. But his passion and justice for inequality was so powerful that he continued to push forward, and look at us now. We have evolved from segregation laws, slavery, and voting rights. Now let me remind you, this didn't happen overnight. This took him many years. So as you think about your own personal goals, remember, greatness takes time. Hope everyone has a wonderful spring semester.